Hello, welcome. In this lecture, let us understand about estimation in Agile. The estimation is a way to predict the effort required to complete a particular task or a project. Basically, you are predicting the effort required for completing a particular task or a project here. Agile estimation is a way of predicting how much time or effort team will need to complete a task or a project. The goal is to get an idea of how big or complex a task is rather than calculating the exact hours. Let us understand estimation with a real life example. Imagine you are planning for a trip. Then you decide whether you want to carry a suitcase or a backpack or a duffel bag based on how much you plan to bring. Generally, you do not count number of items that you are carrying during a trip. Agile estimation works similarly. It gives an idea of size rather than specifications. There are two important concepts related to Agile estimation. First concept is about story point. A story point is a unit of measurement or a scale for an estimation. You need some scale to measure. For example, you are going to measure a distance in meter or a kilometer, right? Weight you are measuring in kg. Similarly, effort is measured in story points. So story point is a unit of measurement. Another concept is planning poker. Planning poker is an estimation technique or a process to determine the story point value. Story points are decided based on the complexity. Planning poker is a kind of a game where everyone discusses and comes to an agreement on the effort required. That is a story point value. Story point is decided based on the complexity, not the time. The planning poker makes estimation fun and consensus based. Let us understand these concepts in detail. Story point, as we have discussed, it is about measuring the complexity, not the time. Story point is decided based on the effort, based on complexity, risks involved, and also any unknown factors. Also, story points are assigned based on the Fibonacci sequence. You assign a value like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 like that. You don't assign a value of 4 or a 9, right? Story point assignment follows a Fibonacci sequence. Story point represent the amount of effort required to complete a user story or a small piece of the project. It is a rough estimate. Includes factor like complexity, risks, and any unknowns. Story point usually follows a Fibonacci sequence like 1, 2, 3, 5, etc. The higher the number means more complex the task is. Let us understand this story point assignment with a real life scenario. Imagine you are asked to prepare 3 different dishes. You are making a sandwich, you are cooking a sambar, you are also baking a cake. Making sandwich is simple, quick, and fewer ingredients are needed. So it is simple. Hence story point is only 1. For a sambar, it will take little more time and cooking is needed here. Hence, it is having a more story points compared to sandwich. Here story point is 3. Preparing a cake is more complex and it needs a baking time, precision is needed, decoration is needed, right? So it is having a 8 points. Based on the complexity of the task, you assign a story point. Here making sandwich is simple, hence story point is we have assigned only 1. Sambar is little more complex compared to sandwich, so story point assigned is 3. Cake is even more complex, hence 8 story points are assigned to this. In this way, in Agile as well, we assign a story point based on the complexity. These story points does not mean the number of hours. They just represent the complexity. The more point means it is more complex. Now this story point is about the measurement or a scale of effort. The story point is about the effort required. Now let us understand the process of assigning that story point. That is called planning poker. Planning poker is a collaborative technique where each member uses a card. Each card will be having a story point values like 1, 2, 3, 5, etc. That is a Fibonacci series. Let us understand how it works. The first thing is discuss the task. The team discusses the user story or a task understand its requirement. After that, each user will vote with the card. It means each member secretly picks a card with their story point estimate. Then the final step is reveal and discuss. It means all the cards are shown at the same time. If everyone agrees to same point, then it is great. If everyone is having a different estimation or there is too much of a difference in the estimation, then they discuss why their estimation is different, and then finally they come to consensus and decide the final estimation. Let us understand this planning poker with a real life scenario. Imagine you and your friends are trying to decide where to go for a lunch. Some of your friends will say, let us go to a food truck and let us finish the lunch quickly. And another group of people are suggesting, let us go to a restaurant and sit down and eat. Now there is a difference of opinion. Now you all rate each option based on your time constraint and hunger level. After discussion, you reach a consensus deciding on an option that suits everybody. In a planning poker, the team aligns in a similar way on how complex they feel a task will be. Now let us understand using a case study. We will use story point and a planning poker to estimate for an e-commerce project. Imagine a team is building an e-commerce website. Imagine a team has three main tasks to start with. Designing a home page. Estimated story point for home page is 5. The next story is add the product search functionality. It's a 3 story points. Implement the shopping cart. It is 8 story points. Here, based on the complexity, we have assigned the story point. It means implementing the shopping cart functionality is more complex, and next complexity is homepage design, and search functionality here is least complex compared to other two, right? Like this, in your project, you can assign a story point based on the complexity of the task. Now let us understand why we use story point and a planning poker for the estimation. First thing is, it encourages collaboration. Everyone's opinion is valued in planning poker, so everyone gets involved. So it increases the collaboration. Focuses on effort, not on hours. Story point helps to keep the focus on amount of work, not the time. This way, teams are not pressured by the time constraint. They are instead encouraged to think about the true effort. It helps in sprint planning. Total story points planned per a sprint gives a rough idea how much can be achieved. So now we have discussed about the estimation in Agile using story point and planning poker. Story point is a unit of measurement or a scale for measuring the effort. Planning poker is a method of assigning a point to the task, right? It is a kind of a game, you can say, where everybody uses a card and everybody picks their card and they show the card at the same time, and then they decide what is the exact story point to be assigned for each of the tasks. So this is about the estimation in Agile. Thank you for watching.